Hey everybody, Andy here. Let's talk about the Barkley Marathons.
The Barkley Marathons is an unrated American documentary directed by Annika Ilkes and Timothy James Kane. It has a running time of 89 minutes and was released October 26th, 2014. Right now, the Barclays Marathon is sitting at 67% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Alright, so the Barkley Marathons. Now, it's really late right now. I couldn't sleep. There's a huge storm going on outside, so right now, if you hear anything in the background, it's just there's a storm going on outside. It's really windy. So I came in my room, turned on Netflix, and I stumbled across the Barkley Marathons. It intrigued me. I started watching it, and it was really interesting. Now, I was really into running for most of my late teens and 20s. I was a track athlete. I did a lot of 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons. So I was really into running, and I was pretty good at it for a while. Um, but this movie is so that's why that's what drove that's what intrigued me about this movie. I also like to camp. I like the outdoors. I like hiking, and so all those things kind of combined in this movie. This what the Barclays Marathon is really it's 5 marathons back to back to back to back. Is that you know what I mean? Back to back to back to back to back, and that's way out of my realm. I never done a marathon. It's not my thing. I was a sprinter when I ran track, so anything that's really beyond a couple miles is something that's not really very intriguing to me. The running aspect of it was very intriguing to me, and the way that these athletes push themselves in marathons and that so that aspect and like I said the outdoor aspect is interesting to me. The documentary pretty much goes and talks about the guy that well there's two guys that create it, but one guy is the one that they talk to mostly throughout the documentary, and he talks about how it started, what inspired him to do this, and all that. He was a runner himself. He was one of the first trail runners in Tennessee. Running really wasn't big in the 70s, and he was one of the, the first people in that area to start getting into running and doing this sort of thing. He has created this ultra marathon in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee, and it's one of the most grueling races in the world. I think only 10 people have finished it, maybe 11 at the time I'm recording this. Right, it's late March, and I believe the race is run in late March, so somebody might be doing it right now. It's five marathons back to back to back to back. That might not be enough backs, but it's 5 marathons, and then you have it's about 100 miles that you need to run with really no time. The clock does not stop for you. Once you start, it keeps going. You can, stop and eat and do all that sort of stuff, but it counts against you. So what this documentary is about, it's about the people that are in the race this year. It's about the guy that created it, Lazarus, and he explains why he created it, how it was created, uh, his experience with it over the last, I think he started in '86, experience since he's created it. He They have interviews with people that are running in the race the year they recorded this, and I think it's 2014. And they talk all about the history and why they do it, why people do it, why people want to put themselves through this awful awful experience. And you see people mentally break, not like they just can't handle it anymore. It's just they're exhausted, physically break down, and you see people succeed, and it's pretty amazing to see people go through this. They run over 100 miles non-stop, pretty much, and it's pretty amazing. I guess the reason the Lazarus guy created this race was when James Earl Ray, the guy who assassinated Martin Luther King, he escaped from a prison in the middle of Tennessee, right where they run this. They actually run by the prison throughout the marathons. And he only got like 3 miles away in 55 hours. So this Lazarus guy said, I could run 100 miles in that same amount of time. So that's what created this marathon out in the middle of nowhere in the woods of Tennessee. And I guess only like 1/3 of the marathon is actually on a trail. The last 2/3, you don't know really where you're going. You kind of do. You have a loose map. You have, I guess they have markers that are books. You have a number, like you're usually in a race, you're given like a 5, 100, 102, whatever your number is. So you find the book and you rip out that page. So if you're 102, you're ripping out page 102, and that's like your marker, knowing that you went to that location. And there's, I guess, 11 books scattered throughout the race. So you have to do that 5 times. And each time you finish a loop, you give them your pages to prove that you actually went to all these points. So it's an interesting take, and there's not really checkpoints or anything like that. You go out, you finish your loop. If you don't finish your loop, then you don't finish the race. And if you don't have enough pages, then you're disqualified. So it's very interesting, very ridiculous race for how hard it is. When you see these people, how much they give, and these people are very experienced runners, a lot of them, and they can only do like 1 or 2 laps, and then they're spent, they're done. It's amazing that people actually do this, that people actually have completed this, and it's just amazing to see people come back and try again, because they just want to finish this race. And the guy that created Lazarus, he's a very eccentric, funny man. So it keeps you interested, and you laugh at times. And then it goes back to the runners, where it's a little more serious, but they're having a good time as well. So it's a fun documentary about something that I had no clue existed here in the middle of the night during a giant rainstorm, and it made me like it so much that I decided to make a video right now. So anyways, guys, if you're into running, if you like outdoors, or you like seeing people just push themselves to the extreme, this is a great movie for you, the Barkley Marathons. Hey everybody, Andy here again. Thanks for watching my video on the Barkley Marathons. If you liked it, you know what to do. All that good YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, comment. If not, I will check you later.